Okay, this should be a short video, and that's because we've already talked about some of these concepts, but I want to make sure you're clear about them. So we've already talked a significant amount about proactive and reactive strategies, but I'd like to dive a little bit more into preventative strategies and then see if you can do an exercise answering on Facebook, as always, that helps you to demonstrate that you understand all these concepts. So proactive and reactive strategies, as we've said, are a compulsory or required ingredient in every service plan. Preventative strategies are almost always there as well, but they're less common and sometimes they may not apply. Proactive strategies are strategies that gradually change a person's behavior. They do that by being positive, by adding something to the person's life and by addressing their needs. Reactive strategies are for managing the problem or troublesome behavior until it has improved. In other words, when we do something proactive, it's going to take time for it to work, and it's not realistic to expect that it'll immediately go away. These strategies have to be positive in the sense that they actually contribute to a person's life, and they have to work well with our proactive strategies. If they're at odds with each other, every time we do the reactive thing, we will actually make it harder for the person to gradually improve. Let me give you an example of that. Let's say a person has a child that is having temper tantrums. And so the parent wants the child to use words to express themselves, to be able to come to them and say what they want calmly. So the child is being rewarded for coming and saying what they want. That's the desired behavior. But occasionally this child still has episodes of acting out. They throw themselves on the ground, kick and yell and scream. And when the parent sees this behavior, their reactive strategy is to give in to the child and give the child whatever it was that the individual was having this tantrum about. When they do that, they're doing something that is going to undermine their proactive strategy because the child's going to continue to find tantruming very effective. It's going to be confusing for them, it's going to slow down any progress, and so it would not be a good example of a reactive strategy. Something like our extinction technique would probably be much better, or perhaps redirection. So proactive and reactive strategies have to work together, and both of them are needed in every program or service plan. Preventative strategies are those that reduce the likelihood of harm in the future. They're called risk mitigation or harm reduction. But we have to be very careful, as we said, not to client-proof, and I've said that multiple times. We don't want to do something that will make it less likely a person will develop a prosocial or functional skill. So let me give you an example. We put railings on staircases to prevent people from falling down stairs, but it doesn't keep them from having to walk down the stairs and keep them from learning that skill set. If, for example, however, I took a person who was perfectly capable of walking down the stairs and made them always go down the elevator, I'd be client-proofing. I'd be keeping them from ever developing that skill. And now, instead of being preventive in a constructive way, I would instead be doing something in a diminishing or unnecessarily restrictive way. So let's see whether or not you can identify which of these is which. So take a look at the slide, pause it, and take a look at each of these and see if you can identify which one in each case is proactive, which is reactive, and which is preventative. There are 3 different cases separated, the first 2 by this, and the third one is over here. And put your answers on the Facebook page.